They're 4 metrics that we're going to measure, which are going to give us a health check on our project. Project manager should be able to go to this and look at it. This is the thinking behind the way that I built this, is 1% of a 24-hour day is 14.4 minutes. So if we eliminate all of the waste, you'll need to come back to the screen back here. If we eliminate all of the waste, the 90% of waste that is in his day or is in the process of trying to mitigate the 12 causes of project failure and drive the 9 rules of project flow, we get rid of a lot of that. He should be able to, in 14.4 minutes a day, he can go to, back to here, look at his Trello board, look at his TAC plan, review the metrics for full kit, engagement, handoffs and constraints, and have an exceptional idea exactly where his project fits and where it's tracking on those things within 15 minutes, 1% of the day, of the 24-hour day, 14.4 minutes, he should be across everything. Most crews aren't just disengaged, they've been trained to wait. People are standing around after pre-start, waiting to be told. Might not just be attitude. Could inadvertently be what your system has built. And we've got a technical issue before we even get into it. Marvellous. Been reading the book, Turn the Ship Around, Dave Marquet. He tells a story in there about how one of his guys, he was wandering around on, I'm going to say Christmas Day. It was a break time anyway, okay? Most of the people on leave. A few people doing the general run-of-the-mill stuff that had to get done to maintain the vessel, ship, whatever it's called. Went up to a couple of lads, actually had to get access to an area that was restricted. Must have been like confined space or something like that. Everyone has to ask to go in there, whether you're the captain or lieutenant or whatever he was at that point in time. Everyone's got to ask to go in there. So he's got permission, got in there, and he's talked to a couple of lads that were in there. And they knew the ship, this is USS Santa Fe. The ship had a bad reputation because it had photos of what happens when you let standard slips. And it was a couple of guys that had stuff everywhere. It was a complete mess. Anyway, he recognised one of these guys out of this. It had come up in some training that he'd been to. Recognised a couple of these guys, and he says to them, what do you guys do here on the ship? Because he'd learnt to ask open-ended questions because he got better feedback that way. And it's actually one of the things in the book, he said, invite dissent. And one of them, one of my old mates, a troublemaker, says to him, we do whatever the hell they tell us to do. I was at that point right there. He knew, said he should have blown up, he should have been insulted, all the rest of it. But he knew he was in a bit of hurt. He had to do something to be able to turn that attitude around. He started with a phrase called I intend to. Now, that might not be the only problem that you got. Quite often, the problem is people are just unsure of what they're supposed to do because we don't give them enough visual signals, enough visual planning to be able to do what they need to do. So what I want you to do right now, grab yourself a sheet. You got one here? A4 paper. It's a pretty simple exercise. You're going to turn the sheet of A4 paper. Old mate Jason Schrader here is going to read some instructions out. You're going to fold it into a paper cup. Sounds simple enough, right? All right, let's get cracking.
So I'll be quick. So step one, start, and if anybody wants to listen to the podcast, they can just do it. Start with your paper white side up. Fold the top right corner down to the left until the top side of the paper aligns with the left side. You should be left with 2.5 inches at the bottom. Take the 2.5 inches of paper.
Got that so far? That was pretty simple instructions.
For long ways and fold it down so you have a square piece of paper to start and leave it that way. You could also cut it if you had scissors. Now use the paper as a square, fold it in half diagonally and leave it that way. Step 2. Fold the top corner down to the baseline, crease well and unfold. Fold the bottom left-hand corner up to the crease line you just made on the upper right side. Once folded, please leave it there. Step 3. Now fold the bottom right-hand corner up to the opposite side in a similar manner and leave it there. Step 4, fold the front flap on the top downwards and fold. Step 5, now fold the back flap backwards in the same manner. Step 6, open out. Your drinking cup is finished. And so
How'd you go? You got a paper cup? Ready? Done. Those instructions were pretty simple. There was nothing hard or technical about any of that. You should have been able to follow that quite easily. We give instructions to people to do way more difficult, way more technical stuff than that.
usually I don't even do it that fast, actually, most of the time. I'm like, okay, let me repeat it again. Do you have any questions? Let me repeat it again. And I'm like, raise your hand. Who has a cup? And I've seen geese, buffaloes.
Everything but a cup.
I've seen everything before, and they don't get it. And this is the point. You'll love this, Adam. I'm like, you guys didn't follow my plan. And I'm talking to construction people. I'm like, you.
How many times you said that? I told them exactly what they needed to do. They just didn't follow the plan. They didn't listen to the instructions. They did listen to the instructions. They just couldn't see what you wanted.
Didn't follow my plan. I've got a plan. It's right here. And I repeated it 2 or 3 times. You didn't follow my plan. And they're like, it's your fault, Jason. You didn't explain it. And then I'm like, all right, get another piece of paper out. And I show pictures. I show, do this.
Do you have the pictures? Could you pop them up for us?
If I shared my screen, I don't know. Is it possible to share the
Yeah,
screen?
if you hit present and share screen. Yeah,
Okay.
pop them up.
Let me
We'll
do
just
that.
see what those look like.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. And to build on it, then what I'd like to do is say, if anybody was listening to this podcast and like you wanted to actually like go through and see if you could do it, try to put the cup together based on just on my instructions and see how far you go. And if you can't, and you didn't get the cup, I want you to hear ringing in your head, hey, it's your fault. You just didn't follow my plan. So I'll hit present.
I'm sure we've
Write that down. It's your fault. You just didn't follow my plan.
I'm sure we've all said that a time or two. The plan was written so clearly. How come you didn't just follow the instructions?
Exactly.
Day shift and night shift. We made it so clear. We gave them simple instructions on what they needed to do. Why didn't they just not follow the plan?
So I'm gonna hit share here. Can you see my screen, by the way?
I can now, yes, sir.
Okay. So then I say, all right.
Right. See if you can fold a paper cup this time.
Take your paper out. Now fold the top corner down. Then you can cut the excess off. You have a triangle. Fold the right corner up to the opposite side. Fold the left corner up to the right side. And then fold the front out and fold the front back. And now you've got a cup. And so the key thing that I want to mention here is that this is like everybody that's on gets it when I show them the pictures, like everybody. And then I'm like, what happened? And they're like, we could see it, of course. And I'm like, that's exactly it. So in my mind, when I used to get told, I remember working.
Imagine how much quicker everything would get done on your site. How much less rework there would be if people could see the plan. All right. ORCA time. Take that, use it. Take it on site. If you want the link to it, just comment below, paper cup link. I'll flick you the link so you can take that, run it at your prestart. Hand some pieces of paper out so you can build a cup. Have a look around your site. How many visuals are there telling people Jason's got a saying, which is something along the lines of no schedules with the paper that's printed on, unless it gets to the field, is a visual representation of collaborative planning between everyone involved. There's people at the work front. How many times have you seen a Gantt chart at the work front? Who could read one if it actually got there? This is why we use tact plans. Who is doing what, where, and when. Visual format. Everyone can see exactly what's going on. This is why I use video every day or every other day, as often as possible. So you don't just listen to me and think I know what he's talking about. You can see it. When I say ORCA, you know what ORCA process looks like because you've watched me do it. Projects. ORCA Live. Ready to begin, Claude? Come on, Claude, what are you doing? He's going down to the pub for a schooner. Man, he's slow today. Home or travel day? Home or travel today? Home. It's actually travel day tomorrow. We need to fix that. Home today. Travel tomorrow. And travel check for tomorrow. Mic, camera, lights, hotspot, all in the bag. This is an unusual travel day. No point taking that stuff with me because I'm traveling on the train and that's not going to be viable. It's not a place to be able to live. Going to have to rely on the fact they're going to have to do it in the afternoon still. Train travel, no live kit needed. We get today's ORCA done now and that covers the streak. Welcome back to another ORCA Live. Step 1 is the objective. We're locking in exactly. What do we set out? The objective today was to keep the streak alive because we've had a couple of misses in the last fortnight. Streak alive, run ORCA live today. Is that happening right now? Is there anything else you said it did today beyond the live? That is happening right now. Good. What was the result of the day beyond the live? What did you actually get done today? What did I get done today? I was on. Should know this off the top of my head. Been creating a flow chart to map communication flow and to align all of the processes that we need to have happen and how they happen once a project starts. Good. Why put a Claude in action communication plan taking shape as a flow chart? Is there any gap? Are we debriefing a win? The gap is I need to start integrating the flex planning process at the start of the week. There's a little map I've got on my wall here, which is do a planning session. If you need to plan it, you brief it in the morning, debrief it when the mission's finished, and at the midpoint you do an X gap. As of next week, I'm going to start rolling that process out. But the gap is flex, isn't integrated into the weekly rhythm yet. It's on the wall but not running. Why hasn't it started yet? Because we need to stabilise and make sure the ORCA process was set, which it wasn't because we missed one ORCA day and we missed a couple of lives. So we needed to stabilise that process again before we started to build on top of it. Good discipline, stabilise the foundation before adding the next layer. So the cause isn't failure, it's a deliberate hold. Cause, flex integration was correctly delayed until the ORCA daily rhythm was stable again. Building an unstable foundation creates more problems than it solves. Opportunity without chaos is structure, as Keith Cunningham says. That sits in strategy and leadership and knowing when to add and when to wait. One action, who does when, by what to kick flex off next week. Beanie is going to set the whiteboard up with his format to kick flex off next week. Saturday, I'll set the whiteboard up. Saturday, Sunday I'll do. The objective to tomorrow is to get a live completed on travel day. I might even pare it back and just do the live on LinkedIn. YouTube, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a YouTube live and the LinkedIn will be a image post. Can you also put that in my diary for 2 o'clock on Sunday to do that whiteboard setup with the flex format? Done. 2 p.m. whiteboard setup, flex format in the calendar with 30-minute reminder. 22 days, travel tomorrow, paired back to a YouTube live, LinkedIn image post, smart call, match the format to the environment, mission still gets done. See you tomorrow. Right. See you tomorrow if you're on YouTube. If not, take that, use it, take the paper cup video. Use it with your team tomorrow. Go back to the start. If you just jumped on, didn't see it, see why visual planning is so imperative to getting everyone on the same page and rowing in the same direction. Speak soon.
They told me you can't do that here, Beanie. It might sound good in one of your books, but this is a construction site. You can't build a learning environment here. But I didn't start with a touchy-feely feel-good program or some poster. It started with a shelf. One shelf, a few books, a marble, a cricket ball, and a football. That's how you build a learning environment. Not with noise, but with signals. Signals that say, we improve here and we think here. We actually give a about getting better together. Human beings don't just need motivation. They need a purpose, autonomy, and a shot at mastery. When you build that into your environment, your team will grow and they will improve. And what happens next is they start to own the change with you.